Hey, BassGeek here, and do you guys suck catching fish during the cold weather? Is it just a cold, brutal beatdown? Well, I'm going to show you my top 5 for December. All right, geeks, that's right. December and on into winter, it can be brutal when you're bass fishing. One of the things that I'm going to tell you to make sure you do is dress warm and wear your life jacket during this time of year, okay? It can get very, very dangerous. Another thing I'm going to tell you before we even start in on the top 5, if you have a boat, it is the time of year to ask, if you don't already have them, for some steps from Boat EFX. Those steps I know have saved me from hurting myself. I even had them on my boat, on the old Triton, stepped across during the Dale Holla tournament earlier this year, cracked my elbow, cracked my heel, still have problems out of my elbow and heel because of it. Fell off the boat, could have been much, much worse. Like I said, I know of 2 older gentlemen, and I'll be 50 in April of next year, who have gotten out of their boat fishing during the wintertime by themselves, slipped, fell, and drowned at the boat ramp. It doesn't take a lot this time of year. So be safe, guys. Invest in something like that. But right now, let's talk about what I love to throw. Now, are these the best things? Maybe not, but I love to fish during the wintertime, and I do generally a pretty good job. I know I just probably punched myself in the face in this winter, but anyway, I generally do a pretty good job when I'm out winter fishing. So this is my go-to top 5 during December. First off, I want to show you, I've been a big fan of these over the past 2 years, and this is the Big Daddy baits. I love, as it gets colder, to go to the full-fledged, full-size A-rig, right? But early winter in December, they're still feeding on those small bait fish. You cannot dismiss the baby Dayton Boat Docks Big Daddy TN rig. That is a good one right there. If you haven't already been throwing a hard jerk bait, you better get started, because you're about to miss out on one of the best jerk bait bites of the year. And that is November, December, and probably a little bit into January. A jerk bait is a great time. And as you get later into the winter, when you get those high sun days, I'm telling you, go out there, look for those points, look for those suspended bass. You don't need a forward-facing sonar. Every time somebody talks about suspended bass, it ain't with a forward-facing sonar. I've been doing this before there was a forward-facing sonar ever thought of. Go out there. Those big females will begin to produce eggs. They will suspend on rock humps and points. And a suspended jerkbait is going to get you some big bass. Fish it slow, change up your cadence, you'll get some big bites. These are some of my favorites. This is, and I do like a little deeper diving jerkbait as we get into December and January. And this is the Mega Bass 110 plus 1. I do throw the plus 2 a lot also. This is one of my favorite cold water colors. This is a mossback. This is a Rapala shadow wrap. This thing slow sinks. And this is a new bait. This is from Bill Lewis, right? So this is the scope stick. Another one of my favorites is the Smithwick Suspending Rogue. It is just an old school all-time great jerk bait during the wintertime. I've caught so many fish on those things, it's ridiculous. There's a ton of things out there you can do. I love spoons, but overall, over a spoon, I will always take a blade bait. You older guys can call them silver buddies. This to me is the best one on the market, and this is the Demiki Vault. I love a tail spinner. They make a great tail spinner. There's several ones out there. Big Daddy Baits makes a great, it's called the Booger Spin. It is a incredible tail spinner, very finessey tail spinner, but the Vault is generally going to be the chunk of metal that I'm going to pick up during the wintertime. Probably my favorite, my go-to, tight lining, Demiki rigging, hover rig, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to keep calling it the Demiki rig, okay? Minnow baits, that's what I generally call the baits that we put on there, but it is a Demiki rig. Now this is a Demiki head and a Demiki armor shad. It's my go-to. One of the others, the Yum FF Sonar Minnow. This is the JC Natural color. That is an Eclipse head from Angler Tungsten. Now this bait, I'm putting in the Damiki rig, but it really is a whole technique in and of itself. It is the BR fish and the BR head. I'm just going to call it the BR fish. This is a winding, really a better name is a gliding technique. This head from Duo Realis and this little bait really does give a wide, about a 3-foot glide side to side, and it is incredible in the wintertime. Last but not least is more of a category, and it's really swim baits. And swim baits can be rigged so many different ways, and that's why it's probably overall my go-to. Let me give you a prime example. Right now, this, I call them spin heads. This is the Jar Head by Destroyer Bait Company, and it's coupled with a Kitech Easy Shiner. I think that's Smallmouth Magic. Now, I will say that I will also, on a couple of these techniques, put straight tails as the water gets super cold, like the Damiki Armor Shad. It's just a little more subtle, but they're very interchangeable. But I always start out with a little finesse swim bait. I'm going to show you some of my favorite rigs. Of course, one of them, I guess you could even probably count this as the A rig, right? But I'm going to show you some of my favorite rigs, and then I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite wintertime actual swim baits, okay? Now, of course, if we're talking about swim baits, we've got to talk about underspins. Now you can see I will rig up some of my favorite underspins. This is actually a J Bros Double Trouble, and again, a Damiki Armor Shad. This is a Nichols Lures, and there's a ton out there. Pulse makes a great one. This is the Ledge Head Tennessee River Bling Micro. So some really good ones out there, just a lot of good ones. I love the wires on them. That's one thing that I love, and I do love a keeper, a spring keeper. And if you're talking about underspins, you've got to go with the top spin too from First Gen. This is a great little bait, and I swear I love to couple it with an Armor Shad, especially the 5-inch if I'm around bigger shad. Now I want to show you the swim baits that are kind of my go-to swim baits throughout the winter. And one of the keys to a swim bait, a good winter swim bait, is it's got to be ultra soft, because that plastic stiffens up a lot when it comes to the cold. And of course, my Damiki Armor Shad paddle tail. This is Tennessee Shad, one of my favorite colors. This is a super subtle, super finesse little swim bait. Next up, it's going to be the Easy Shiner. The Easy Shiner 3.5 and smaller, all the way down. I don't remember, I've got several little bitty ones. I don't have them out with me, but down to like the 2.5 inch. The Easy Shiner is a staple of wintertime fishing. Last but not least, I mean, let's face it, this is the standard of wintertime swim baits, and that is a Kitech Swing Fat Impact. If you've not thrown these since they've been out during the wintertime, thought of this as a winter bait, where have you been? Because these probably catch more wintertime bass than any bait out there. At least where I'm from. You might have to grind, but I'm telling you, pick one of these up, fish it in the right depth level, and you will catch bass in the winter. All right, geeks, I hope that helps you this December and really into the winter. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. That's what I'm going to be fishing pretty much all through the winter. Now, we're always going to change it up. We're going to throw a little spoon. We're going to throw a little shaky head. We're going to throw a little jiggy jig. But those are my favorites, and you can keep moving in the wintertime, which means you can keep warm. So I hope it helps. As always, geeks, I love you. Things are coming together in an incredible way this year. As I always say, there's nothing special about me. It's just all you geeks out there that support the channel, that watch. I hope you guys kind of live the dream through me, because I'm not just doing this for me. I'm just an everyday average guy, an older guy, a dad, a grandpa, a husband of 30 years, and you guys have blessed me with the ability to be able to go out and maybe live a dream I never thought I'd be able to. So thank you. All that being said, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk about fishing with you. I mean it. I do. Ask me questions. I love it. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell so that you can watch videos when they come out. 100% Watch Squad, best way to support it. It's absolutely free. Watch every video when it comes out. watch it all the way through. And as always, all you geeks, I love every one of you. Whether you can or you can't watch it all, I love you, appreciate you, and you geeks rock.